Hello, everybody. Pastor Randy here. Welcome to Making It Simple. It's a beautiful Tuesday evening. The day is beginning to wind down, and still got a little time to get a few more things done. And I wanted to come to you today with our episode. Very excited to be with you today, but I'm very excited to be with you tomorrow. Tomorrow will mark 100 episodes. 100 episodes of Making It Simple. Well, I just didn't know what we were getting started with when we started this venture several months ago. But God's been good to us and allowed us to continue this work. And I'm very excited for the people that are affected and touched by what we do, and what I'm blessed to be able to offer, as the Lord has given me the ability to just, again, have a conversation with you. I think it's important that we touch on the difficult subjects. I think it's important that we touch on life and the reality of the things going on in life. And I think it's amazing how many people don't realize the applicability of the Bible. I might have just made up a word, I don't know, but it sounded good anyhow, so forgive me. A lot of people see the Bible as just a mere religious book, a holy book, just a church thing or whatever. But friends, when we begin to go back and we begin to break these passages down, we begin to look at the literacy of these words and how they absolutely measure up to the current time that we're living in. It's truly amazing, to be honest with you. As you've heard me share before, in the book of Hebrews, we're told that Jesus, who is our high priest, the one who speaks on our behalf, the one who covers us, that we don't have someone in our corner that doesn't understand. We don't have someone in our corner who hasn't done or dealt with the same things. You've heard me teach on that. He felt pain, he wept, he felt frustration, he felt disappointment, discouragement, all the things that we fight against and with every single day. When we look at the passages for today, we ended off yesterday. He was talking to the leaders at this time. And he said to them, because they were challenging him about where are you getting all this knowledge? How can you teach in such a way? Because, certainly you didn't learn it from us. You didn't go to our fine institutes and all of the different things. We didn't certify your degree. And Jesus said, I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about what the Father has given me to say. And I thought he said something extremely profound. And this continues to tie into our lesson today. He said, and if you were actually called by God and doing the will of God, you would know what I'm talking about. He called them out. That journey continues today. Because he said the person that speaks of themselves and they're looking for their own glory. Friends, I see this stuff all the time. I need to be here. I need to be there. Put me on the stage. All these different things. I hear it and I see it. I deal with it all the time. It's humbling to be in a place of prominence or a place of a position of power or influence. It's humbling, or it should be. But when we move to that level of we're craving the attention, or we need some type of affirmation of what we're doing, we really need to question why we're doing it. And this is what he was saying to them. Listen, I'm not questioning your knowledge. I'm not questioning your understanding of the law and the rules and Moses and all the different things. I'm not calling that into question. I'm calling into question your motive. Motive is a very important thing today. Why do people do what they do? Jesus is making it clear in his teaching and ministering and speaking. It is to glorify God. It is to introduce people to a relationship with God and the ability to have such a thing, that it become real, that it is a reality. It is not religion. It is not a distant deity action pleasing, far off, unable to know kind of thing, to where it's all based on your performance. If you do this good enough, then God might. No. He said, absolutely, that is not what I'm trying to teach you. I'm trying to teach you that you can know God because He knows you. He knows your name. The Bible tells us in the Old Testament He can count the number of hairs on your head. So He just knows my name. But the point that I'm trying to make here is He's trying to get them to understand you have a beautiful, incredible platform, and you're not using it for the right reasons because you've allowed selfishness and arrogance and pride and vindictiveness and all these other things to get into the way, so you have lost your way. It is in essence what He's telling them. He goes on and he says this in our verse for today. This is verse 19 of chapter 7. He says, now hang on just a minute. Now I'm paraphrasing here, so don't quote me. But I am reading to you from the Word. It says, didn't Moses give you the law? But yet none of you keep the law. Why are you going about to kill me? Now, they had not openly said that we're going to kill you, but He knew their heart. He knew exactly what they were after. And He says, now hang on a minute. Hold on. You preach and proclaim a level of obedience and accountability and fear of God and all these different things to keep people in line, to have everybody bow down to you, to have everybody, be subject to you, that if in some way you feel that they have failed or stumbled or whatever, that you can call them on the rug and call them out and punish them or whatever, take this away or doom or damn them to some kind of thing. You proclaim to be an expert in this knowledge of God, but yet still, you don't do it. You're a hypocrite. That word has been long associated with the church, shamefully, and in some cases, sadly, rightly, because of the same thing. Wait a minute, there's a double standard here. We see it all the time in today's society, especially in the ruling class. Now again, my intention is to try and navigate those waters to keep it as non-political as possible. However, we see a time upon us, regardless of the industry, whether it is a service or whether it is entertainment, whether it is sports, whether it is politics, whether it is in the church, when people reach a certain level of authority or a certain level of power or whatever, that, well, you just do what I say, not what I do. But no, that's not how that works. And Jesus says here, hang on just a second. You say that Moses gave you the law, but yet still none of you are keeping it. What is He talking about? Because He says, you want to kill me. However, the law, the written standard that God has made, again, applicable to your life and to the standard by which you're to live, says, thou shalt not murder. However, you want to kill me. Not just, you're not just angry with me. You don't just want me out of town. You literally want to take my life. I know your heart. I know what you're after. He called them out. He said to them before in the passage we studied yesterday, if you truly knew what you were talking about, the Word of God, as it is written, the Scriptures, then you would know me, who is the Word of God. John chapter 1. I will always reference that because we need to get back to understanding that. And He's saying if you really knew what God had called you for and what God had called you to do, you would understand that. But you're seeking your own glory. And in the process of that, you proclaim to be the rule. You proclaim to be one that can tell everybody what to do. You can profess all this other stuff. However, you don't do it in action or in thought, because at this point their thought was to take him out. Again, they didn't want him just out of town. They wanted him gone. So he says to them, why do you do that? Why do you want to kill me? Now, there were people listening. And it says, you have a devil. He spoke out with authority against the authority. The people had been conditioned to believe you couldn't do that. The people had been conditioned to believe that, well, once this person obtains such a level, I mean, you can't say anything. Jesus here is saying, wait a minute. No. Yes, you are to respect those in leadership. However, we understand, whether it's our Western culture or whether it's just mere principle, if you want respect, you got to give it. This ruling class was doing nothing to gain respect because they didn't stand by everything that they proclaimed themselves. You do it, but I can not do it, and it's okay because, well, I'm up here and you're. No. See, in the eyes of God, we're all on the same playing field. I think I probably have used this illustration, but I saw it a couple of weeks ago. There was a picture, and one picture was a mansion, an enormous, incredible, beautiful home. Right beside it was a shack, just a few old boards, a little bit of a roof, probably leaked quite a bit. But on the outside of those two dwellings, in which different people lived from different classes of the world, different economic status and everything else, on the outside of both of those homes was the exact twin of a grave. That's where everybody becomes the same. In the eyes of God, you either listened and did what God proclaimed, or you didn't. There's no gray area there. We're not talking about performance acceptability. We're talking about the accepting of what Christ has done and believing in that and the reality of that. And it should change your life. This is what he's trying to get them to understand. If you really believed what you're teaching, you wouldn't have the thoughts that you have. We're not talking about not being human. We're not talking about not getting frustrated or disappointed or whatever in the actions of others. We're not talking about that. But he's saying you earnestly want to kill me because I've exposed you. We still see that going on right now. It happens right now. People disappear. People commit suicide when they have things to tell. Jesus is saying here, wait a minute. You've been blessed to obtain the level of authority that you have. You've been blessed to obtain the level of leadership that you have. Yet still, you don't use it for good. You're not glorifying God. You're glorifying you. Because you want to see how much further can I get this? How much higher can I get? What is the next goal? What's the next star that I can get, or the next stripe that I can get, or the next title I can get, or the next degree? And you're doing it all because of you. It has nothing to do with making anybody else's life better. That's why he would teach later in this same book of John, and we'll go through this at another time. Deny yourself. Pick up your cross and follow me if you want to obtain what it is I have set out before you. In other words, it's not about you. We're important. Don't get me wrong. We're very important. If we begin to allow ourselves to grow, we can help others grow. But it is not until we have that humbleness and willingness to have wisdom imparted to us, knowledge imparted to us that will allow that wisdom to grow, to take root and show that we can be a help. arrogance and pride gets in the way of that. Arrogance and pride says, I don't need that. I got it all figured out. I'm up here at the top. I got the big title. I got the big hat, whatever. And so you can't tell me anything. I'm just the one barking out all the orders. And God says, no, that's not true at all. Because you've not learned to humble yourself that you can be of any great service to anybody. That's why arrogance gets in the way. We talked about that yesterday. And he says, so you're not keeping the same rules that you say everybody else has to. We have to start there. Because in effect, you're of no service. It's just air, words, orders, barking, crack the whip or whatever. But when the mirror is turned around and you have to deal with that guy or you have to deal with that gal, what say you? Because you don't have a leg to stand on if you want to clear this picture up to where people not only will respect you, but people will learn to believe in what you're saying because you've had the truth given to you. I heard a news person say, I think it was yesterday, the day before, in just a video clip that was kind of circling around. And they said, they were speaking of themselves, singularly, individually. I am the only person that knows the truth. Arrogance. Arrogance and ignorance. Because that's not true. They're not the only person that knows the truth. And the sad part about that is they very well probably do know the truth. Not the only one. But just like this, I know the truth, but I'm not going to tell it to you. I'm going to tell you what I want you to hear. This group was in an incredibly powerful position to help people, to lead them and help them grow in their spiritual life, and they didn't do it. It was, well, you just do what I say, and you don't watch what I do, because I might want to do something a little different. No, that's not how it works. And so, again, the people were conditioned to say, oh, he said something against. No, he wasn't saying against anything. He was saying the truth. And where this established Jesus and us understanding our need for a relationship with him, as knowing him allows us to see the truth. Understanding him and the relationship that he desires to have with us allows us to see, wait a minute. This group, this person, this industry, this organization is saying this for me to do, but they don't do it. Why? There's something missing here. Because if it's right for me, then it should be right for you. If you're demanding this of me, why don't you do it? It allows us to have a discerning spirit. It allows us to have some understanding that what Jesus said, follow me, he meant in every literal way. Understanding, listening, watching, all the different things, because it all matters. When we're blinded by other things, or when we foolishly, like these ones that were listening, saying, you can't say anything. And Jesus is saying, well, wait a minute. You can't say anything. However, how will you ever be set free? Mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, how will you ever know if what you're being told is true or not? The only way you'll know that is to come to know the one who is the truth. Again, we'll get to that later in John 14. I am the way, the truth, and the life. The manner, the truth, and the example. It's all there. That's what we learn, and that's what we have in the person of Christ. So Jesus says to them who are listening, who are saying, wait a minute, he goes back to the group, the ruling class, that is, again, he's told them clearly, I know you want to kill me, but hold on just a minute. Let's go back. You, he says here in verse 21, I have done one thing, and you all marvel. Now, what was he talking about? He's saying, You are still carrying on about the guy that I healed back on the Sabbath 2 years ago, year and a half ago, because you said I was wrong and you never got over it. You're still holding on to that. Isn't it funny how that correlates in the world today? People still carrying on about, well, what happened this many years ago or that many years ago, and continue the same story, the same narrative. And it wasn't true the first time it was told. But yet still, we still hear it all the time. The Lord is saying here, where's your priority? Why is what God has given you the ability to do not precedent in your life? Why is it not important? Why is it not number one? You have people looking up to you. You have people listening to you. You have people, influenced by you. And yet still, all that's on your heart is getting rid of me. Because you somehow see me as a threat to your position. I don't want your job. I just want to tell people the truth. You should want that too. Isn't it amazing how, you heard me say several days ago, history repeats itself. If we read these passages as they are given to us, and we understand them from the perspective of John 1, and that Jesus is the Word of God, He's telling us, friends, He's telling us, open your eyes, open your ears, and listen to what I'm telling you. I'm giving you knowledge. Let it fester, let it grow. It will become wisdom. And then you will have the desire to follow me, because you know then I won't lead you wrong. Jesus is our source of life. He is our source of truth. Friends, I implore you, and I try to really make this an important part of every message as we close. Come to know Him. Don't blindly follow stuff. Don't hopelessly, aimlessly listen to everything that comes your way, regardless of where it's at, television, internet, whatever. My heart, my passion is to share what God is sharing with me as it is revealed in life. This has been and I continue to use the number because it's true, a 23-year journey now with Christ, and really truly understanding what that means. Stumbling a lot in the very beginning because I didn't know what it meant. But as we begin to stop and we begin to listen and we begin to understand, wait a minute, this is actually being played out right in front of me. Not only is it history repeating itself, but it also exposes us to the heart of the matter, that it's a heart issue. And until one changes that and has a change of heart, they don't act any different. They don't care anymore. And they have no more concern about you. It's all about Jesus. I can't state that enough. Be mindful of everything in your circle, everything in your life. The Lord here called out those that were at the top. It wasn't in rebellion. It wasn't violent. It wasn't anything. It was just saying, wait a minute, I got a question. A legitimate question. And then the people gasp. Well, you can't say anything. You have to. And the way that we have discernment to do so is because when God comes in and we allow Him to be center of our life and core of who we are, it allows us to have a great understanding of the way things really are. That's why I do what I do. I want you to know Him the way that I do. It'll change your life. I believe that with all my heart. Again, as I always say, if you got any questions about that, you want to learn more about that, please contact me. I'll be more than happy to help you. God bless you. I hope you have an awesome evening. And Lord willing, I'll see you tomorrow for episode 100. Can't believe it. Take care.